You absolutely don't need to have a lot of followers in order to have a strong and high status personal brand, and also to make money with your personal brand or like social media in general. I think that is one of the biggest misconceptions nowadays when it comes to building personal brands or like building an online persona in general. At least that's also what I hear from all of my clients, like all the clients that I worked with in the past. They all think, okay, I need to become an influencer, I need to have millions of followers, I need to be super exposed online in order to print with social media, in order to actually be able to monetize this kind of source of income like traffic, right? Which is absolutely not true, right? And that's also why it is one of the biggest misconceptions. But in today's video, I want to kind of give you an insight and share my own experience and opinion on this topic to kind of change your mind as well, right? So a little backstory. I think I checked like literally yesterday, right? Beginning of this year, I had around 6,000 followers on Instagram maybe. Like 4,000-ish of those were actually real followers because 2K were bought like a few years ago from someone, I don't know. And still, with having this amount of followers at the beginning of this year, right, like 6,000 followers, I was still able to close clients paying me 10K plus, right, for one project. I was able to connect with multi-millionaires and billionaires. I was able to get invited to crazy events, parties, trips, etc., right? Even though I was by no means an influencer and by no means did I have any clout on social media, right? So once again, I want you to understand that success on social media, especially in the business space, does not rely on your follower amount. Of course, it never hurts to have a lot of eyeballs on your business or like your service or like your brand in general. Of course, it kind of increases the chances of being seen by the right people at the right moment in time. Yes, absolutely, but you don't need that, right? What you do absolutely need, however, is a strong and specific high quality presence online. Because if you don't have followers, right, if you don't have any reach following or like a very small amount of followers, and also on top of that, your whole presence, brand in general, just does not speak for itself. It just looks super casual, random, cheap in a sense. Well, then obviously nothing's gonna work for you. Because let me give you an example, right? I get so many messages now every single day from people reaching out to me trying to sell their services, whether that's editing, content creation, appointment setups, whatever it might be. And some of those people might actually really make me a lot of money, right? They may actually be the best people in the space right now. I might be talking to the best person in the entire world right now, but I will not give a shit because what do, right? When somebody texts me, I always open their Instagram account. I check their profile. A few seconds, I already made up my mind, right? Do I trust this person? Do I want to work with this person? Do I want to interact with this person, give this person more of my time? Or not, right? And if the Instagram account isn't optimized and the follower count is super low, well, in most cases, I'm not gonna trust this person because there's too many random people, fake people, bots, spam accounts, etc., right? And that's why it is so important. Now, I want you to understand, to get back to the main thing about quality and a strong presence online. I want to touch deeper on that point because you may be thinking, okay, Adam, cool, I don't have a lot of followers, so how do I make my account look better, right? For example, even if I don't have a lot of money, like a big budget right now to allocate towards that, right? Great question. Let me tell you this. When I was starting out a few years ago in business, right? Once again, I didn't have any connections, I didn't have any budget, right? And my Instagram was shit as well. I had nothing to show. Now, you have to understand that your social media, your personal brand, will always attract people that resonate with who you are, right? So naturally, the things that you show, the content that you show, will attract a very specific target audience or like demographic. And that's also why I always tell my clients to be extremely specific with who they are, what they stand for, how they want to be perceived online, etc., because all of those things will determine what kind of people you will attract, both in your network, client-wise, business-wise, private life-wise, dating-wise, right? All of those things. So to get back to the point, right, I always wanted to work with very influential people, with successful people, because I think Hermosi said something like that as well, solve rich people's problems because they pay better, right? But that aside, like money aside, I was always very fascinated by people that already have been very successful, and I just wanted to be in that world as well, right? So I tried to understand or like learn the language of those people in every single life area, right? And that also directly correlated to the things that I was showing in my social media content and strategy. Now, in my inner circle, right, my school community, where you can actually work directly with me, learn directly from me for a fraction of what I usually charge my main clients. A member asked me, okay, bro, Adam, I want to attract these kind of people as well, right? But I'm just starting out and I don't have like millions of dollars or like whatever to spend on cars, jets, fancy restaurants every single night, or like whatever it might be, to attract these kind of people, right? You don't need that. Once again, you do not need to have a big budget for that, because, for example, even if you just go to a nice hotel lobby in your city, right? You could be ordering a coffee. I mean, you'll pay like what, 2-3 euros or like dollars more than usual. But first of all, you'll be in a very good and abundant environment to actually work on your business. Second of all, you can utilize that space and location for your content, right? Being in that location already kind of tells something about you, that you're going to these kind of places instead of just a McDonald's around the corner to work on your business. And on top of all of that, you will also increase the chances to actually meet people in person in this place, in this location, right? So you have 3 things at once just by being in this one location. And then naturally, you will also be able to connect with those people in real life. For example, if you meet a very interesting person in the hotel lobby, which once again, chances are quite high that you will do so, or like that you will be able to do so, you can start a conversation, right? A lot of the people are like, they tend to be older, right? So they run like older businesses. They don't really have that much knowledge about online things, business, online and the digital space in general. So that is already your advantage, right? If you're somehow related or like active in that space, you already have value to share. You can start a conversation about business, right? Especially when you're a young guy as well, it's even better for you because you stand out even more, right? People always respect people that, like successful people respect people that are trying to do something, right? No matter what level you're at. So long story short, I don't want to make this video too long, but please keep in mind, you don't need to have a lot of followers, right, to see success on social media, like with your personal brand. And you don't need to have millions of dollars available right now to be able to allocate into crazy things, because once again, all it takes is the right angles, the content psychology behind the things that you put out, and how you present yourself, because all of those things will directly correlate and determine, once again, what kind of people you'll be able to attract, both business-wise and private life-wise. So that being said, if you want to learn directly from me, once again, and if you want to get access to modules, frameworks, proven frameworks that I've been utilizing for myself over the last 7 years, and also for all of my 7 to 9 figure clients with my agency, weekly calls, direct access, my direct guidance, 24/7, etc., then make sure to click the button, or like the link, the first link below this video. If you're watching this, you might still be able to get a free bonus one-on-one call with me, because that's like a launch bonus that I'm doing right now for my school community. And besides of that, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.